Okay, good. Oh, there's a couple more people. Wendy, could you just let people in as they come on? Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. It is 9:03 on the 18th of August. We're halfway through the summer, and wanted to welcome everybody and our guest speaker today, Jeff Goldberg. And before we hear from Jeff, we'll go around the room and do a brief intro. Wendy, would you mind starting that process?
Of course. Hi, good morning, everybody. I am Wendy Paff-Gennaro. I'm the Director of Development at Queen Centers for Progress. For those who don't know who we are, we're a nonprofit that services people with developmental and intellectual disabilities in Queens. And we started this group a little over a year ago, right before the pandemic, but we're happy that we were able to take it onto Zoom and be here still today.
Thank you. Wendy, I think your voice might be a little low. I don't know if anybody else feels that, but
Yeah,
it's a little bit, it's a little low. Okay, and I know that's not typically the way you sound. Good morning, I'm Alex. I'm the moderator for the group. And as Wendy said, we're with QCP. We started the group in March of 2020, so it's more than a little bit over a year now. It's going on a year and a half, and we're very grateful that you folks keep showing up week after week. Gary, Kriston,
yes.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Gary Kriston from Eastern American Technologies. We've been in business since 1972. We handle copier sales and service, business phone systems, cabling for low voltage, cameras, security, and door access. So I handle all the new business that comes in and existing business. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Welcome. Steve Karp.
Good morning, everybody. Steve Karp, Variable Promotions. We are a 70-something-year-old commercial printer and provider of promotional items. Promotional items being anything you could think of for image recognition, image consistency, tote bags, umbrellas, coffee mugs, pens, t-shirts. We not exclusively, but we sort of concentrate in the not-for-profit arena. We've been doing that for a very long time. Stephen Karp, Variable Promotions.
Thanks, Steve. Jill Weisner.
Hi, Jill Wisner, Spectrum Designs Foundation. That's okay. I answered many things. Spectrum Designs Foundation. We're in the same industry as my friend Mr. Karp over here, but we are actually a nonprofit, 501c3. Our mission is to create meaningful and inclusive employment for people on the autism spectrum. I guess the biggest difference would be we're both fabulous, but we actually do screen printing and embroidery and heat transfers directly on apparel and tote bags and blankets in-house. We also sell promotional products. We also have a bake shop that does homemade granola. And we have a laundry service, which I had the opportunity to use the other day when I had a flood and it flooded out my closet. So lots of good things going on at Spectrum. Nice to be here this morning.
Thank you. Matt Pathak.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Matt Patrick. I'm with New York Life Insurance Company, offering life, disability, and long-term care solutions for individuals and also group benefits for small businesses.
Thank you, Matt. And Neil Levin.
Good morning, everybody. Neil Levin, Webline Media Group. We have been designing and developing websites for over 26 years now. I've worked on over 1,000 projects. Small companies up to very large companies. We've been located in Queens for about 20 years. And we also work with a lot of not-for-profits. Neil Levin, Webline Media Group.
Thank you, Neil. Norman Wasserman.
Morning, everybody. Norman Wasserman, also known as the Music Man, and my voice is not low or quiet. There are those of you that wish it was. But anyway, Friend Entertainment USA, the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. Our next concert is for Long Island Cares. It starts off our fall-winter show with our show for Stevie Wonder. And that is my new puppy barking in the back, which I will be have him quiet in just a second. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. John Rafferty, welcome back.
Good morning, everyone. John Rafferty from WatchGuard 24/7. I'm the owner of a full-service security guard company. So we provide security guards, concierges, and fire safety directives to residential commercial markets throughout New York and New Jersey.
Thank you, John. And J.F. Elfman.
Hi, Jay Elfman with Top Dog Training. Norman, I might be able to help you with your puppy barking. Work with all breeds, ages, and sizes throughout Nassau County and Queens.
Thank you.
Can you train a pug?
I can train anybody, any dog.
It's not him, it's me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
PJ Davidson. Welcome, PJ.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. PJ Davidson, I'm with Queensboro FC. We are Queens' brand new professional soccer team. We're going to have a men's team as well as a women's team starting up in the spring and summer of 22, respectively. We're building a 7,500 person brand new stadium in Jamaica, just on the backside of the campus of York College. So hope you can all make it out to a game. And if anybody needs anything, feel free to shoot me a chat.
Thank
Are
you.
you looking for people in ticket sales?
Potentially soon.
Ben Horowitz. Yeah, and make sure, PJ, we have your contact information just in
Yeah,
case.
I'll throw it in the chat. Thank you.
Ben Horowitz, welcome back.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. And Jill, hopefully you called a good insurance adjuster to help you with that bill, even if you own the company, have them help you take care of that. So I'm Benjamin Horowitz. I'm the CEO of BSB Consultants. Our organization specializes in group health insurance with organizations as small as 2 employees and as large as a few thousand. So if you have any questions about health insurance, please reach out.
Thank you, Ben. Tammy Raccaniello.
That was beautiful, Alex. Good morning. Okay.
Tenne.
Tammy Racanello, Wellness Unicorn, vitamin supplement healthy product store specializing in allergy-friendly, gluten-free, and vegan products, and corporate wellness programs on stress management and a work-life balance.
Thank you, Tammy. Jonathan Otero, welcome.
Hey guys, how you doing? Jonathan Otero. I'm originally from Flushing, Queens and Valley Stream, New York, but I'm coming to you today from Orlando, Florida. I am here because I'm just a big fan of Jeff's. He trained me when I was a baby sales rep, and I've been following him ever since, and had him on my podcast. So when I saw he posted this, I said, I got to be here to hear what he has to say.
Goldberg Groupie. Hugo.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I'm Hugo Alegria. I'm a business relationship manager here at People's United Bank. If you or anyone is looking for a business relationship manager to establish a business long-lasting relationship, feel free to reach out to me. I specialize in commercial and residential lending, including SBA loans as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mara. Hi, Mara.
Good morning. Couldn't unmute myself for some reason. Good morning, guys. Mara Ohanyan, cruise planners, and I'm counting days to my own river cruise. And wait, yeah, it's Friday. So you figured, right? River cruises are my favorites, but I do all kinds of vacations, river ocean cruises, land, all inclusives, customized packages, individual groups, anything. Just start traveling, okay?
Okay. Send pictures. Nancy.
Oh, I will, a lot.
Good. Nancy Vargas.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, everyone. Nancy Vargas, CEO of DH2 Chauffeur Transportation. What we do is provide safe and private ground transportation services. So if you're in need to go to the airport, you have a group, event, a shuttle service, we are able to provide it all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Nancy. Joseni, welcome back.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you. My name is Joseni Tineo. I am the president at Jose Michel Events. What we do is that we plan events, all kinds of social events. We plan weddings and also corporate events. So if anyone needs any help with coordination for any type of event, we are here. And I am back because I heard that Ms. Goldberg was going to talk, and I didn't want to miss this one.
Another Goldberg groupie. Okay, Jeff, you have quite a following. Okay, so Jeff is going to be, no introductions necessary. Jeff's going to be talking to us to it today. He's been with our group a couple times before, always had a great response. So welcome back, Jeff. I'm going to spotlight you. And you should be co-host, so you should be able to share your screen. Take it away, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you to Nancy for inviting me originally to this group. It seems like about 1 million years ago. And thanks for all the fans that I didn't know about. I appreciate all the kind words. I am a sales coach, trainer, and consultant. I work with both individuals and organizations all over the world to help them do one thing and one thing only: get measurable and sustainable sales increases. And when I work with clients, I work with them in two different ways. One is we work on the skills of selling, the how do you do this? How do you do that? The actual nuts and bolts of selling. How do you pick up the phone and make a cold call? How do you close somebody? All that stuff. But it's not just a game of skills and techniques and tips and tools. It's also a game of the mind. Sales is a game where you need to be mentally strong. So today, what I'm going to share with you is a bit about the mindset of selling. And at the end, I'll give you a couple of tips for actually implementing some of the things that I'm sharing with you today. So the first thing is you've got to know what your why is. In any business, you should know what your why is, but especially when you're selling, you have to know what it is that you're trying to do for people. Top producers, the best salespeople in any organization that I've ever worked with or worked for, and I've been selling now for 48 years, they understand why they are selling, why they're doing what they're doing. And they also have a very clear understanding of the product or service that they're representing and what that product or service does for their customers, how they help their clients. That's what their real why is, because the come from should always be service. And when I say service, I'm talking about prospects can smell commission breath, like dogs can smell fear. Prospects can smell need and greed the same way. So the best salespeople always truly come from not I need to make a commission or I need to close a deal, although we all do. The top reps always come from I'm here to help you. I'm here to do what I possibly can to improve your life, your business, your relationships. I'm here to help people make more money, do it more efficiently, more effectively, quicker, all that stuff. But when I meet with a prospect, whether it's on the coaching basis or a consulting basis or a training basis, it's always, what can I do for you? How can I best serve you? And when you come from that space, and when I say come from, I'm pointing to my, thank God, rapidly reducing waistline. I'm pointing to my gut, which kind of blew up over COVID. That's an excuse. I was just eating too much. But my come from deep inside my belly is, how can I best help you? That's what our job is as salespeople. How can we help our prospects to choose to do business with us? And then how can we help them do whatever they're trying to do better than they're already doing it? If you can't help them do something better than they're already doing it, then they don't need you. Top reps also always have an attitude of generosity. They're very free with advice. They're very free with the help they give. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that you should give away the ranch for free. In consulting, we call that unpaid consulting, where you give so much information that the prospect doesn't need to hire you anymore, or they can take the information you've given them and hire somebody else. But you should be generous with your advice. I speak to people every single day that I'm not getting paid to do because I love to help people. And I know that the way the universe works is if I do enough good stuff, if I am generous enough, that generosity comes back to me. So if I'm helping Mara may never be able to help me. She may not want to, she may not be able to, but somehow the universe is going to pay me back. Maybe it's Mara's on a river cruise and somebody's talking to her and they're talking about business. You know, you get to that conversation, which we often do with people, and they say, oh, geez, my sales are down and I don't know what to do. And Mara goes, oh my God, just this Wednesday, I was listening to a guy. He's exactly the guy you need. Let me introduce you to my friend, Jeff Goldberg. He helps companies get measurable and sustainable sales increases. So that generosity always comes back to you. It's the same thing in networking, by the way. If you're just there to try to sell to the people in your group or just get referrals and you're not giving, you're not going to last very long. You're going to be very disappointed. So be generous and understand, what is your intention? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it just to get paid, or do I truly enjoy helping people? Now, when I say that, I want you to understand, I don't do this to be altruistic. I do love helping people. It is the way I'm wired up. No kidding. I do like helping people. I get a very good feeling from helping others. But I also do this to get paid. So you've got to be coming from the right place. Top sales reps always have an attitude and a mindset of resilience, because failure is a large part of what we do every day. Look, I'm so good at selling that I get paid to teach other people how to sell, but I fail on a daily basis. More than 50% of the people I first meet with when I'm selling training specifically, more than 50% of the people I first meet with end up not doing business with me. So I have to understand that failure is part of the gig. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing, but it's just part of the deal. And part of the deal is you should know your numbers. How many no's does it take to get to a yes? How many people do you have to speak with in whatever way you're going to do it, whether you're calling them over the phone, sending an email, or any other way to actually get an appointment? How many appointments turn into a deal? So failure is absolutely a part of it. When you understand that and stop fighting it, you're way better off. We have to understand, I'll just share this with you. I have two favorite words in sales. The first one is yes, and the second one is no. And while I prefer yes, there's no doubt about it, no is a very close second. In fact, for me, if yes is here, no is right here below it. Everything else sucks. And that's a technical sales training word. Everything other than yes or no sucks. So I will make it incredibly easy for people to do business with me and say yes. I make it just as easy for them to say no. And it's okay when somebody says no. You know, we in sales have a bad reputation. And part of it is certainly because some people are not honest. But another part of it is because some salespeople don't understand when no means no. And that's a large part of selling. Understanding the difference between the no that means, gee, I'm not quite sold yet. I need a little more information, or I need to hear more features or more benefits, and I just might go with you, as opposed to the no that means, I'm not doing business with you. Leave me alone. Go. The sales rep that keeps on going in the face of that resistance, because I've made a call 150 times, and on the 151st, they picked up and it turned into a deal. Well, for every story I've heard like that, I've heard millions of others where you just wasted your time. And for me, the person who makes that 151st call only to get a deal, my thing is those 150 other calls you made, you could have made them to 150 other people, or maybe 15 other people 10 times, and some of those would have turned into more business. So no is okay, but we do have to be resilient and understand that sometimes no is the answer we're going to get. That means we have to be prospecting consistently and effectively so that there's always a bunch of people in our pipeline, because some of them are going to say yes. It's unrealistic to expect everybody to say yes. And anytime I run into a salesperson that tells me, oh yeah, I close every deal, or I close 90% or 85%, first of all, I'd like them to prove it to me, because usually they can't. And second of all, if you're really closing 90 or 100% of the people you're speaking with, my coaching is this: you're not speaking to enough people. You're probably not getting enough business because you're only going after the people who are what I call laydowns, the easy ones. Now, here's one last thought on that. If you are getting 100% of the people you first speak with, and that's enough business to supply you with the amount of money that you need to be wealthy, or at least have enough money to do what you need to do, then keep doing that. But typically it means you're not. A mindset of control is important too. Intelligent salespeople understand what they can and what they cannot control. So you can control your personal attitude, the way you're reacting to the things that people are saying to you. You control your work habits. It's not your manager. It's not your employees. It's nobody else. It's you. You control how you react when somebody says something. Do we get defensive, or do we get empathetic and try to understand? You control consistently moving the sale forward, or at least trying to consistently move the sale forward. But smart sellers also understand there's a lot of the stuff that's just not in our control. I used to teach salespeople up until, I'd say, about 5 or 6 years ago, you have to control everything in the sales process. Once you lose control, you're screwed. Well, I realized at about that time that we really don't have that much control. The prospect has the say as to whether they'll get together with us or not, whether they'll have a conversation with us or not. They get to say whether they'll give us their money or not. And all we can do is the best we can to influence that, to have great conversations with them where they end up choosing to do business with us. But smart sellers understand what they can control and what they can't control. The smart seller mindset is also one of integrity. So I started selling 48 years ago, and sales was looked at as kind of a, spit on people work to go into. a career. Who goes into sales? Nobody goes into it on purpose. You wind up there by accident because you can't do anything else. And in order to survive in sales, you got to lie, cheat, steal, exaggerate, whatever words you want to say. Well, that's not the way it is. I learned fairly quickly, I want to be able to sleep at night. And I am completely unwilling to lie in the least to a prospect in order to get their business. To me, my integrity after my 3 children is the most important thing in my life. If I can't consider myself a person of integrity, then why would you? And if you don't consider me a person of integrity, why would you want to do business with me? So top producers have integrity. They are honest and they will never compromise their integrity just to make a sale. And top producers have a mindset of hunger. They always want more. They're always trying to get to that next income level to help more people. And that, again, that's that come from helping people. How can I help more people? I'm about 3 months away from creating a new coaching program, which means which is going to include a lot of recorded videos that people can watch, less one-on-one time with me than my private clients get, but it's going to allow me to help more people. And at the same time, hopefully, that means I get to make more money. So it works both ways, but you should always be hungering to help as many people as you possibly can. A mindset of positivity, this one should be a no-brainer. If you are a negative Nelly or a negative Ned, you're not going to do very well in sales. And I work with a lot of them. One of the things I do is outsource sales management. I'm currently managing 3 separate sales teams at 3 different companies. And in each one, there's always somebody who whines all the time, who complains all the time. Incidentally, those are typically the people who aren't doing very well. And it's not that they're not doing very well because they're not getting the support from the company or the help from me. It's that they have an attitude that the world owes them something and they love to complain. I don't mind when people come to me with problems, challenges, issues, but come to me to discuss them and come to me with an idea of what you think we should do. And let's figure it out together and then make that happen. You have to focus on what is good as opposed to what isn't. The question I always ask salespeople who come to me with complaints is, given that that's the case, how are we going to make money anyways? Given that you hate the boss, how are we going to make money anyways? Given that the leads suck, how are we going to make money anyways? Given that COVID has a lot of business shut down, how are we going to make money anyways? Because here's my thought every single day. At the end of the month, if I don't send Citibank a check, they don't care how great my excuses are. They're going to come take my house. Chrysler's going to come take my car, and I'm going to lose everything. So complaining, it's a waste of time. Top producers have a positive attitude, and they start each and every day knowing that every single day is an opportunity to recreate yourself and recreate your success. My stepfather was a very difficult gentleman to grow up with, I promise you, but he was a career salesperson, and he taught me very on that sales is a great career, and here's why. Every day, he actually said this to me, Jeffrey, every day you get to wake up, look yourself in the mirror, and give yourself a raise. And then all you have to do is go out and earn it. And I've lived with that for a long, long time. And that's what I do every single day. And no kidding, I do look myself in the mirror and I give myself a raise every morning. Top producers have a mindset of authority, that they, not that they're trying to be authoritative over other people, but they know what they have to offer. They understand it inside out. They can very clearly express to the prospect, here's who I am, here's who the company I work for is, and here's what we bring to the table. In other words, here's how we can help you. And they can speak about it knowledgeably, confidently, and with true authority. They speak as if they know about what they're speaking about, because if you don't, prospects aren't going to get it. Prospects need to trust that you know what you're talking about, just like you when you go to your doctor or your lawyer or your accountant. Hopefully, you wouldn't be using them unless you trusted that they know what they're talking about. They're professionals, they're experts. Top producers are too, and you need to be too. Top producers are prepared. Top producers understand that, like Olympic athletes, you have got to be prepared. You know, they just had the Olympics, and you know, I'm always stunned, not just at the skill that these people have, but at the work that they have to do just to get there. Forget about whether they're going to win gold. The work that these young people, typically young people, have to do for years and years and years, waking up while you and I are still sleeping. Well, not me anymore because I'm old and I'm up at 4:30 in the morning anyways, but I'm sure not going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and eating right and exercising, although I'm doing some of that stuff, but I'm certainly not doing it to the level they do. Top producers are prepared. There's a saying I love to use, which is amateurs wing it, professionals plan. They are prepared for a sales call. They are prepared to have conversations with people. They are prepared to prospect. And they're confident, not cocky, but they are confident. Confidence, like enthusiasm, is transferable. If you are not confident, then you're going to have a very tough time closing people because they're not going to have confidence in you. And by the way, this is especially true when it comes to talking about your fee, your number, what you're going to charge them. And this is where salespeople typically fall flat on their face. They may do the greatest job of selling all the way up until then, and then they fall apart because they know, at least in their minds, that now this is what the prospect is going to make the decision on, the number I'm about to give them. So I want you to know this. That's not what prospects make their decision on typically. Now, I live in the real world, and I know that some products and some services are more commoditized than others. But I want you to know this too. Prospects typically do not buy price. If they did, you and I would all be driving 1980 Honda Accords because you can pick one up for $300. They run forever. They're very reliable and they're comfortable. They're not sexy, but they're comfortable and they run forever. They're great cars. But I'm betting there are very few of us on this call who are driving a 1980 Honda Accord. And if you do, you probably have 2 or 3 other cars. That's your beater car that you use maybe to go to the train station. So people typically do not buy price, even though the prospect thinks it's all about the price. And most of us, when we're selling, thinks it's all about the price. It's not. Confidence. You have to have confidence in your product or service so that you can transfer that idea over to your prospect. Top producers are introspective. They take a look after each sale about what went well and what could have gone better after every single meeting. I know I certainly do. I think before I go into a meeting, what do I want to get out of this meeting today? What information do I need to get today in order to consider the sales call successful? Because when I know that, I know what questions to ask. But afterwards, I analyze what went well, how'd the conversation go, what could I have done better? Because there's always something I can do better. And I've been doing this a long time. We can each always improve, but by taking the time to think about it, we can improve just a little bit each and every time. And that's all it takes. Tony Robbins, to me, the greatest motivational speaker of all time, talks about CANI, C-A-N-I, which stands for constant and never-ending improvement. If you make just a little bit of improvement every day, and that's even pushing it, what if you made a little teeny weeny bit of improvement once a week? That's 52 improvements over a year. Let's say you only do it once a month. One little improvement. That's still 12 improvements over the course of a year. Top producers are always improving. They know they can always grow and always learn something. I still read most of the sales books that come out, even though I'm a sales expert. I still go to seminars. I'm still learning because I don't know everything. I haven't been exposed to everything. Somebody else knows something that I don't know, and I want to know that too. Top producers have emotional intelligence. They empathize. And I know that's a word that's been overused in the last year and a half, except I don't think it's overused because it's such an important word. The difference between sympathy and empathy is simple. Sympathy means I feel bad for you. Empathy means I understand, or at least I'm trying to understand how you feel. Because when I can understand how you feel, I might be able to better help you. The best producers are great at managing their emotions and how they react to the person on the other end of the Zoom call, phone, or sitting across a desk for them. And pros, they have an attitude of responsibility. They have an attitude of the buck stops here. My laptop's not good enough. The materials that the company gives me to sell with aren't good enough. The leads aren't good enough. Blah, blah, blah. There's that little voice that talks to all of us all day long. And for some people, it's a whining, complaining voice. And by the way, if you don't know what voice I'm talking about, it's the little voice that just said to you, what voice is Jeff talking about? We all have it. It's constantly going on. Well, pros take responsibility for the little voice in their head, and they help focus it to the positive. And they understand that at the end of the day, whether you have succeeded or failed, it's because of you and nobody else. Top producers are thirsty. They have an attitude and a mindset of thirst. They're constantly learning, they're constantly moving forward, and they are proud to be in sales. Sales is a great career, and you do get to wake up and give yourself a raise every single day. A mindset of grit. Grit means you're willing to do the hard stuff, the stuff that you don't want to do. By the way, that's a definition of a great coach. A great coach is somebody who can get you to do the things that you don't want to do in order to be the person that you want to be. Well, a mindset of grit, of being willing to do what the other people won't. Be willing to make that one more call. Be willing to work on Friday afternoon, even though you'd rather be at the beach. Me too. I live a block from the ocean. I can walk down there anytime. But sometimes there's a price to pay, and top producers have the grit that they're willing to pay it, often when other people won't. Top producers have a mindset of velocity, and velocity means speed. Too often with the clients I start working with, I find that they have kind of a attitude of there's always tomorrow. And hopefully there is always tomorrow for all of us. But the more you can accomplish today, the more you can get done by working as quickly as you possibly can, each and every moment, without being careless, without making mistakes, but working with true speed, the more you can get accomplished and the less you have to do tomorrow, or the more you'll be able to do tomorrow too. Work with speed. For those of us who own our own businesses, which I'm included there, I always think, I'm going to get fired Friday if I don't accomplish fill in the blank with whatever I need to accomplish. Now, nobody's firing me. I own my own company, but you have to work with that attitude. And I'm not a fan of working out of fear, but you have to understand that the faster you work, the more you're going to get accomplished, the more people you're going to be able to help, the more money you're going to put on in your pocket. And they also have a mindset of focus. So salespeople, like most human beings, often have shiny object syndrome. What's the latest thing? Instead of doing what they should be focused on. I believe firmly that you should be focusing on one thing at a time. I won't even embarrass any of you by asking how many of you think you're great multitaskers, because I'm guessing that at least half, if not most of you, would raise your hand. I'm here to tell you you're not. You are not a great multitasker. You think you are, but you're not. It's been proven scientifically. The brain, the human brain, can only focus on one thing at any given nanosecond. Now, you can try to focus on two things at once, but what happens is, A, you get exhausted because your brain is constantly focusing back and forth, having the conversation on the phone, driving down the expressway. I don't know about you, but way more than once I have passed my exit where I had to go because I'm involved in a conversation with somebody. It's mentally exhausting. And the second thing is, when you try to focus on two things at one time, both of them suffer. You cannot do two things at one time as well as you can do one thing at a time. So focus on one thing at a time. Do it with all due speed. So really, you have to do whatever you can to keep that positive attitude, whether it's affirmations every morning, using, I'm a visual learner. For those of you, most of you probably know there are three types of learners: visual, audio, and kinesthetic. Some people learn better by hearing, some people learn better by seeing, some people learn better by feeling. We all have all three, but we all have a dominant one. My dominant one is visual learning. I'm a reader. I have signs all over my office constantly where I'm talking to myself, telling myself things. Like one of them, one of my favorites, says, am I doing the thing at this moment that's most likely to result in income? Am I doing the thing at this moment that's most likely to result in income? I look at it constantly and I ask myself that question. And if the answer is no, I know I need to be doing something else. So whatever you need to do, whether you need to be listening to stuff in the background, whether you need to have signs like me, whatever it is, do that for you. Now, here's some thoughts on things you can do to develop these. First of all, at the very bottom of the mountain, set up your day for success. In my personal experience, I find most people wake up like this. Oh, crap. Another day where I've got to get up and go slog it out again and try to make a living. As opposed to waking it up and going, woohoo, it's another day that I can help a bunch of people and make a ton of money and work towards my personal and professional goals. Whether you start out with affirmations like I do each and every day, I kid you not, as I walk my dog, I'm wandering through my neighborhood with a smile on my face. And I know I look like an idiot, but there's a reason for it. It releases endorphins. It makes you feel better. And I'm talking to myself out loud. Today is going to be a great day. Everything's going to go incredibly wonderful for myself and my family today. I'm going to help lots of people today, and everyone I interact with is going to be thrilled that they were touched by me. And it goes on for like 10 minutes. So do affirmations like me if you like to start setting up your day right. Maybe you like to journal. Maybe you pray. Whatever it is for you, do that thing to get your day started right. Because starting the day with, oh crap, it's another day where I got to go face people, is not a great method for success. Second thing is expect to succeed. Create an expectation that good things are going to happen for you because you're coming from the right place and you're going to help people. Monitor that little voice. Remember the one I was talking about before? Monitor and pay attention to that little voice. And every time it's telling you something negative, I'm so stupid, I'm too fat, I'm a loser. Look, we all have those thoughts from time to time. I do not want you to fight with yourself when you hear that. What I would urge you to do is acknowledge that you had that thought and then say, wait a minute, I'm not fat, but I am a bit overweight and I can do something about it. Or I'm not a loser. I did something stupid this time, but I'm not an idiot and I can fix that. Monitor your self-talk. Be accountable. This is a very challenging thing for most people. For most of us, we are not accountable to ourselves. We are willing to make commitments, but we will break them to ourselves. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me too. And I told you before, I value my integrity greatly, but I also know that I love me. And when I make promises to myself, sometimes I'll keep them, most of the time, but sometimes I won't. And a perfect example is about 6 weeks ago, I embarked on a journey to get back down to what I call my right size body, where I feel the most comfortable. To me, it's not about a number. It's just where I feel the most comfortable. Now that happens to be connected to an approximate number. But for about a year and a half before that, I was saying, I want to lose weight. I know I can lose weight. I got to do something about my weight, but I wasn't ready to commit. I wasn't ready to commit and I had nobody to be accountable to. So when I made up my mind, I'm ready, I'm going to do it again, I let a lot of people know. I actually joined a Facebook group called the Fat Boy Fit Club, where there's a bunch of people who are supporting each other on this weight loss journey. You got to be accountable to somebody, and it's better if you're accountable to somebody else. I have an accountability partner. Every Monday at 4:00, we get on a phone real quickly and we make promises to each other and we report back the next week as to whether we kept our word or not. Just the knowledge that I have to speak to another human being who I respect and tell them, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, often gets me to do it just before the call. Be accountable. And that last word up at the top is commitment. Nothing happens without commitment. With my coaching clients, I always tell them, I don't care what you want, what you dream about, what your wishes are, what your hopes are, or any of that. As a human being, I care about those stuff. But as a coach, I only care about one thing. What are you willing to commit to? You willing to commit to making $500,000? As your coach, I'm going to help you get there. You willing to commit to losing weight? I'm with you, but you've got to commit. And that's how you get to your goals. That's it for me. The only other thing I'll tell you is that I don't usually plug stuff on here, but I am going to be doing stand-up comedy for the first time in 28 years on September 2nd. If anybody of you like to laugh, I'm going to be there with a bunch of other brand new comedians at Governor's in Levittown. I think tickets are $12 or $15 September 2nd. I'd love to see you all there. If you have questions, I'd be glad to take them. If not, I thank you very much for your time.
Jeff, I think everybody's going to have lost 10 pounds in the next 2 weeks after this talk. Or go out and buy a new car anyway. So, Jeff, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, as usual. And put the contact information for your, for your gig up there. And Nancy, I think you had a question. We'll open the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. I was actually clapping. But
okay.
Jeff, you just inspired me, motivated me, made me feel like today is going to be a great day. So thank you so very much for that. I so appreciate you. I just think that we all need to hear this stuff because, listen, I would love to lose a little weight myself. So, but I really believe that what you said about motivation, I started during the pandemic in probably one of the darkest hours in our business, in my industry, transportation. The fact that I woke up every morning and said to myself, DH2 is going to survive. That's all I thought about. DH2 will survive. We will get through this. And I really had this positive outlook that some way or another, Mike and I were going to figure it out, and we were going to push through, and we were going to make it happen. And it's because of people like you, Jeff, that really remind us that we have to really push ourselves each and every day, whether it's sales, whether it's business or personal. We must push ourselves and give us that uplift that we need in order to keep moving forward. So I thank you.
It's my pleasure, Nancy. First of all, I'm not sure that you could be more attractive if you lost weight. You're a beautiful lady inside and out. And I know that you have a positive attitude, but we all need somebody else to give us a little help sometimes. So thank you for saying those kind words.
Thank you.
Joseni, you have your hand up. We have a couple more people too. Go ahead, Joseni.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Everything you said, just like Nancy said, very inspiring. And again, I heard many of these things before, and now I'm like, yes, I feel like, okay, let's start all over. I do have a question. You mentioned before, we know that people buy emotions. However, I do have lots of the leads that come my way that it looks like they are comparing prices, and I have great conversation with clients that when I follow up say, I got a great conversation with you. I love everything you offer. However, somebody else offered me this much. Are you willing to like get my prices down? So what would you recommend that I tell these people? I mean, when I hear this, I never lower my price. I said I can recommend you to somebody else. But is there another way for me to approach these people so they can actually convert?
Sure. Would you just please refresh my memory? What do you sell?
I am a wedding planner.
Sorry?
Wedding planner.
Wedding planner. Got it. Okay. So you used the word a couple of times, emotions. So having been to several weddings and having been involved with one, I can tell you it's a very emotional time. And, you know, everybody is looking to make this the most special day they possibly can. Everybody, especially the bride. And it comes down to, yes, you can get it cheaper, but is that what you want? Because they don't. Here's an example. So when people hire me as their sales coach, they're definitely not looking for the cheapest sales coach they can find. I know this for a fact because I'm far from cheap. I'm not. I get paid incredibly well for what I do because I'm worth it. I produce magnificent results for people. And that's what your prospects are looking for too. They want a magical wedding. They want a magical experience. So my response would be, look, I know that there are people who work for less money than I do, and you are certainly welcome to go there. However, here's what makes us different. And you have to be very good at letting people know what makes you different. What makes you stand out? Who are you in the matter? How are you going to hold their hand so that when she walks down the aisle, and the doors open up and she walks down the aisle, everybody goes, ah, and it's the most, I mean, look, I was married, not anymore, but I was married. You know, I know that I wanted for my, it didn't matter to me. I really could not have cared less. But I know for my now ex-wife, I wanted it to be a magical experience for her. And everybody does. The father of the bride who's paying for it, everybody wants it to be magic. So you have to come from, I'm going to create the greatest wedding you ever, the one that you've imagined, it's even going to be better because I don't know if they do it anymore, but when I was growing up, little girls used to dream about their weddings and they used to cut out pictures from magazines. So it's really on you, Josemi, to communicate to them that you are the person that's going to help them get exactly where they want to go and more. And that's when price becomes less important. I have two main competitors on Long Island. Both of them are incredibly good at what they do. Both of them charge less than me. I've gone up against both of them at the same time and separately on different deals. I've never lost to either of them once, even though I charge more. It's not about the money. We have to get out of our head that it's about the money. Now, final thought on this. Are there some people who the money truly is that important to? Because they can't afford a $100,000 wedding. They only got 15 or 20, whatever the number is. Yes, but that's not your prospect. So we have to understand we're not going to get everybody. And we need to be prospecting actively so that we are finding our prospects. The prospect that's looking for a $50 an hour sales coach, that's not my prospect. They're not looking for me. The prospect that wants the best coach they can possibly find at a price they can afford and they think is reasonable, that's who I'm looking for. Does that make sense, Josemi?
Absolutely, 100%.
And by the way, I very much like what you said. I don't drop my price. I don't either. I don't drop my price a penny for anybody. Never, ever. You want me, you pay me what I'm asking. You don't want, and you pay me according to my terms too. I get paid in advance. I don't leave the house unless your check has cleared my bank. I don't get on a phone call or a Zoom call to coach you unless your check has cleared my bank. You don't like that? Go find somebody else. And I don't mean that to be arrogant or snotty. There's lots of people who do what I do. Go find one that works for you. But if you want the most magical wedding, the best, the experience that you've dreamed about all your life doubled, you got to come to me, Josemi.
Thank you. John Rafferty.
Thank you.
Hey, John.
Jeff, great presentation, and haven't seen you in a while, so excellent. I just want to actually give a great shout out to Nancy Vargas because she was talking before when I raised my hand, and I never told her this. I went to Ocean City, New Jersey with my family. My mother-in-law couldn't come for the full time, so I told her I had a supervisor going from Queens to check on a job site in Jersey, and I said he could drop you off. But my wife actually reached out to DH2 Limo and booked a car from Nancy. So when she got in the car, she tells your driver, "Oh, you work, with my son-in-law," and he had no clue what the hell she was talking about. And but then she finally calls and figures out the whole true story. She said the guy, your car, everything was amazing. And I never told you that, Nancy. But so that trip down to Ocean City, New Jersey with your guy was for us. But thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Yes, thank you so much. So the older people here, and I don't say that facetiously, will remember back in the 80s who Tom Hopkins was, because he basically invented the psychology of the verbal sale, how to turn no's into yeses. He actually started out in real estate, and then he became such a good motivational person. What do you think of the Tom Hopkins idea of the psychology of how to get people to say yes? Because in all honesty, years ago, I worked for a couple of different companies, and they weren't the best in selling. And you sell what you can, you try to sell any way you can. But if it's a product where it just doesn't match the best thing that there is on the market, and you know what is the best, but some of those better companies, they really don't have that many openings. It's the lesser companies that have more openings, the turnover is higher.
So first of all, Tom Hopkins was the very first training I attended 47 years ago. Champions Unlimited. I still remember a lot of the stuff that he taught me. Some of it is pretty dated, and some of it even back then was a little corny, but some of it really just still applies 100%. I think his book is called How to Master the Art of Selling, or How to Master the Art of Selling Anything. I used to buy copies of it for anybody who worked for me. So great stuff. In terms of, I think your question was, how do we convince them to say yes? Was that it?
Yeah, but
we don't.
Okay.
We don't. The answer is we don't. I disagree with Mr. Hopkins. I don't think you, Robert, John, Alex, me, or anybody else, or all of us put together, has the ability to convince, to persuade, or to talk anybody into anything. I've been selling a long time and I've been highly successful in almost every single sales job I've ever had except one. I sucked at selling timeshares, but everything else I excelled at. Encyclopedia Britannica, I sold it for 8 years. I was one of the top 10 producers month after month after month for 8 years in a row out of 2,500 salespeople nationwide, often number one. It was not because I was great at convincing people. I'm great at having conversations. I'm great at making friends with people, because people still buy from people that they like and trust. And the trust part is even more important. And I'm very good at doing that. I'm truly interested in other people. Dale Carnegie, who wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, said, it's better to be interested than interesting. And I'm interested in people. Don't get me wrong. I got as big an ego as anybody, maybe bigger. I love when people are interested in me, but prospects respond when you're interested in them. So I'm good at doing that. And I'm great at asking questions. I have a sales group on Facebook called the Sales Pro Network, which I invite you all to join. And every Friday at 10 a.m., I do a live interview or a training like this for the group. It streams to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn at the same time.
So I'm sorry, it's called the sales. What is it called?
It's 4 words, the Sales Pro Network.
Thank you. I'm
the administrator. If you come to join, I'll let you in. Absolutely. Sure. So on Fridays, when I'm doing these interviews, I'm just asking questions of people, and I'm very good at that. And that's why I'm good at selling. It's not because I convince you or anybody else to do anything. I don't think I'm good enough to do that. I don't think all of us put together are. It's not your job. I don't think we can convince anybody to do anything that they don't want, don't need, or can't afford. And I wouldn't want to. All I want to do is have great conversations where enough people end up choosing to do business with me, because to me, that's selling. People choose to do business with you or they choose not to. They choose to meet with you or not. They choose to give you their money or not. I'd like you to take the pressure off yourself, because sales is a game of enough pressure. Look, for those of us who own our own businesses, which I do, I eat what I kill. Now, I'm not going to say that if I don't sell something, I can't eat. Knock on wood, I do all right, even with 3 kids in college that I'm paying for. But I do okay. So, but it's really a matter of your come from. Your come from should be, how can I serve you? How can I have a great conversation? Sales, here's a guarantee for you. It's not about your brilliant presentation skills, and it's definitely not about your strong closing skills. And I'm a professional presenter. I can present with the best of them, and I know how to strong close, but I don't. What I do is I have great conversations, because that's how all of you are going to be better salespeople. Learn to have better conversations and learn to be interested in them. Stop pitching. Start asking questions, because there are 3 keys to selling. 1, asking great questions, and I can share with you how to do that. 2 is being an active listener. And most of us salespeople, we suck at listening. We're horrible listeners. Active listening, great question asking, and you have to be a good storyteller. You have to tell people a story that gets them to relax and fight their natural instinct, which is to not make a decision. The way our brains, if you've studied brain science, the way our brains are wired up is we automatically think of the negative first when we're in a buying situation. What if I do business with Robert and it goes wrong? What if I hire Jeff as my coach and my sales don't go up? We think negatively first. So we've got to tell them stories that help them to relax and go, oh, I call them a verbal proof story. And it's very simple. It's a story about somebody else like you, who by doing business with me lived happily ever after. When we tell stories like that, the person who's thinking negatively, what if I make a bad decision? They start going, oh, it worked out for somebody else like me. Maybe it'll work out for me too. I think that was I hope I answered your question, Robert.
Yes, you did. But how many members do you have in your Facebook group? Because I'm very big on social media. That's a very powerful tool.
I think there's about 850 there right now.
Are you able to get more business from your Facebook group?
I have not tried to get business from my Facebook group yet, although certainly at some point I will be making offers to them. But I've had it for a little over a year now, and my strategy has been to give generously with no expectation of anything in return. Zero.
Okay, so
I want to get Robert. I have another
sorry
question.
to interrupt. I've posted the link in the chat, Robert, if you want to grab it from there.
Yeah, I need to talk to him offline.
844. PJ, you have a question.
PJ, you have a
too.
question.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Jeff, I appreciate it. That was an awesome presentation. As someone, I was with the Yankees for 7 years before I helped start Queensboro FC, and we had many a sales trainer, and that was definitely one of the more refreshing presentations. So thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Something that I really appreciate about what you said is the concept of learning little things. Like we would have all these sales trainers, and my goal was, if I can just get one itty bitty little tip that I can add to my repertoire, it was worth it. I think that you prioritize the mindset as much as anything in having those intangibles down. I hate most sales books because like Gladwell books, they make one point and then there's 30 chapters where they make the same point, to death over and over again. And I just can't do it. What are 2 or 3 books, or podcasts or anything like that, that you found really profound and gained some of those little tips from?
It's great. So the first thing I want to say before I tell you what books I recommend is that if you only learn one thing from a book or a seminar or a workshop, you got ripped off. I say, people come up to me all the time before I'll start a seminar. Hey, Jeff, I'm so excited. If I learn one thing today, it'll be great. I always say the same thing. If you only learn one thing from time spent with me, whether it's a half an hour or a full day, you got ripped off and I shouldn't get paid. You should be learning lots and lots of stuff. I happen to be a huge fan of the book, The Transparency Sale. It was written by Todd Caponi, C-A-P-O-N-I, came out about 2 years ago. I like the Challenger Sale very much. The challenge there is it's very difficult to implement, but it's a really great methodology. I used to work for a guy named Steve Schiffman at a company called DEI Management Group. That's where I got my start in the sales training business. His book, High Efficiency Selling, is still an excellent one. Don't tell him I said that. He and I are not best friends after I left the company, but I still like the book very much. I read just about everything that comes out. You never know where there is that one nugget that's going to make the difference. And it really is both things. It's got to have the mindset and the skills, because there are tips and tools and techniques, which some people know, but most don't. The problem is, PJ, that so many of us fell into sales by accident. I did not go to college to become a salesperson. I'm not going to tell you the story of how it happened, but it certainly was by accident. And by the way, I swore I would never go into sales because my father and stepfather and both grandfathers were career salespeople, and none of them were ever successful. Swore I'd never go into sales. 48 years later, here I am. But it's only because I treated it as not just an opportunity, which I saw it was. I treated it as a career where I was willing to make the investment. You know, most salespeople don't read a single sales book each year. They don't go to a seminar. There's a sales trainer who's on the radio constantly, Jason somebody, I don't know him. He says he's the world's #1 sales trainer, which I'd like to know where he get those statistics from. That's the kind of claim I hate. But he talks about, and it's true, most salespeople don't study at all. Pick up a book and read one. There's a gazillion videos on YouTube for free of guys like me giving away advice for free. Invest some time. Pay the price. Every year when I go to my doctor, he's got books on his desk. Lawyers, books on their desk. They're still learning. That's what I would do, my friend.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have so much to say. First of all, Jeff, fabulous presentation. This is not the first time I heard you. And it's always great.
Thanks.
There is this guy, Anthony Iannarello. I used to get his emails. He's a great business coach. I don't know if you heard about him.
Of course.
Oh my God. Sometimes it feels like in his email, sometimes I feel like he was talking directly to me. He's a genius, I think. And also Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, because I used to get depressed. I mean, you know, like I was like, what is a sale? It's not a profession, sales. I mean, doctor is a profession, lawyer is a profession, you know, it was depressing. But when you read Napoleon Hill and when he says, nothing happens in the world until someone sells something, that's a very big consolation and moral support. Anyway, I'm probably going to contradict myself, but, you know, I used to say myself that it doesn't matter what you sell. If you can sell, you can sell whatever. So like I used to sell patient monitors for Philips, right? And the woman whose company it was, because I was in contract sales, she called me. Have you ever heard of anything like that? She called me about a month after I started working for her. And she goes, I decided to increase your commission percentage. But now that I'm in travel, I keep questioning myself, am I needed? Is it really needed? But as soon as I think that, something happens that I help my clients and I'm like, yeah, what would they do? My client recently said, what would we do without you? We're so blessed to have you. I don't know. Sometimes it's really not easy to be in positive mindset. And sometimes it's not easy to get motivated. I'm like, how much of it is my fault? We're in pandemic. People are afraid to travel.
It's not your fault, Mara. It's not your fault.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, people are not comfortable traveling.
I got it. Here's the thing. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. It is on you. And yes, people are not comfortable traveling right now. There's nothing you can do about that, but prospect for the people who are. The airports are getting filled up again. Planes are getting filled up again. I don't want to travel yet. I'm 66 years old and I'm vaccinated, but I'm worried about this Delta variant and things seem to be getting worse. Really? I get it. I understand, but you've got to look for the people who are willing to travel. And by the way, PJ, that's another good book that Mara mentioned, the author, Selling to Veto. That's a great book. Another one is Spin Selling. I only just read that one recently, and it's great, especially for large account sales. But for you, Mara, you're in a tough position right now, just like restaurants have been for a long time, because there are less people going out to eat, and there are less people for traveling. You need to be doing more prospecting. You need to be spreading the word to everywhere you possibly can about you're the person who can help them do the travel. And one other thing, when you talk about it's hard to stay motivated, you're absolutely right. It is hard to stay motivated. That's why I advise two things. One is motivation is not something like a shot that you can take it and it's going to last forever. Motivation does not last. You go to an Anthony Robbins seminar, and I've been to several, and you walk out pumped up out of your mind. You can't wait to get back to the office and start working again. And the next day you're really pumped up. And the day after that, you're pretty pumped up. And the day after that, you're kind of pumped up. And then the day after that, it's like, wasn't I really excited a week ago? What happened? That's why you have to listen every day. That's why you do have to do affirmations, listen to recordings, listen to podcasts, put positive stuff in your life. And the other thing is, find somebody that you can speak to, whether it's a professional coach like me or just somebody in your life who you can call.
Or a shrink.
Well, it might be a shrink, but there should be somebody who you can call that you're willing to listen to, who can talk you off the ledge. And I'll give you a quick example before we move on. My mentor in this business is a guy named Steve Bookbinder, the greatest sales trainer I've ever seen in my life. Funny, talented, really smart, amazing at giving people the information they need in a way that they can use it. Steve is an incredible trainer. I get a call about once every 6 weeks or so, maybe once every 8 weeks. And it's my friend, Steve. Jeff, I'm in Doha right now, and I need a dose of Jeff, because he knows I will have that conversation with him. And look, you can hear, I speak excited. I'm a naturally enthusiastic person. This is not an act. I'm a good person when you're down. So Mara, call me if you're down, or find somebody in your life who can help you. But we all need somebody else, because when we're down, it's very, very difficult to get out of it on your own. I'll give you one last tip. I use music a lot. I have a playlist that's all pump up music, my favorite tunes and stuff, with that driving beat. And I find music is a great way to get back when you're kind of down. Also, take a break every now and then. We seem to think that we've got to work full out all day and all night, every day. No, you are an important person. People need to recreation. They need to go on vacation. You need breaks into your day.
I was on a really long break. I won't say that I was working too hard, but
I get it, Mara. I get it.
I am great at supporting others, but when it comes to, I'm a genius when I have.
Find somebody who can support you.
Okay.
I have to comment, Jeff.
Go ahead.
This is the third time in the time that we started that you've been here. So first, it's always amazing to have you, and we thank you. But you adapt, just like, you've adapted and you've changed your program. You could have just been, presenting the same thing, but, you're a perfect example of how you have to adapt and change things up and bring more information. So I've learned a lot today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for attending. I know that the speaker is doing well when I see a lot of heads going like this. I do. So thank you very much, Jeff. If you have this presentation that I can make available to the folks, or it's the video that you sent, send it along. But we will make this recording available for all those who need a dose of Jeff on a daily basis. And thank you very much to everybody for attending. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you, Jeff. Again, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Alex.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Jeff, I
Bye-bye.
requested to join your group already.